The reason why I'm doing this video is because some people struggle going from plane to plane, figuring out how to use the autopilot, or even how to use the autopilot, period. I know there was one time I was that way as well. And so I just want to show that all the autopilots and all the planes work generally the same way. They're slightly different, but it's kind of like writing computer code. Once you know how one computer code works, the framework is about the same in all of them, even though it's different syntax and stuff like that. But first of all, I'm on runway 36 in Orlando. I'm going to... Okay, so... Okay, so we want to add an origin. It's my... I'm on KMCO. It's Orlando International Airport. Enter. And set a destination, KMCO.
121.8 for Frontier Flight 2636.
Okay, so now, once we have our departure and arrival airport, now what we're going to do is we're going to do a procedure, okay? And procedure is where you set up, basically, if you want to fly an ILS approach into a runway. So I'm going to do an arrival. Let's do, I'll just leave it the way it is, runway 17 left. This arrival,
Orlando Tower, Southwest 1206 ready.
Load this.
Runway 17 right, IFR to Bradley.
17 left. Okay. And then we're going to come up here.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 17 right.
Go to our flight planner.
206.
Oops. Okay. Frequencies. Look at runways 17 left. Frequency is 110.950 is our frequency for ILS approach. 110.950. Okay, so we come down here to nav 110 110.950. Enter. Okay, that's set up. So now we should be able, okay, and we want to direct
Southwest 1206, contact Miami Center on 124.1.
direct to this, activate. Okay, so now we have a path we want to take. Okay. So the way we operate the autopilot is we're going to set the altitude we want to go to. Say this is 5,000 feet.
Did you copy?
Okay. And we're going to set the verses. The verses shows us how fast we're climbing per minute. So I'm going to set mine to 1200. Okay. And we want to click nav mode. Now I haven't turned on the autopilot yet. I'm just setting the things up so that the flight director will tell me which way to turn. This is the flight director, and that is on.
Exit runway when able.
Okay, so now we're ready to take off. Now flying the plane, you know, there'll be other videos for that, but I just want to show you how this works. There we go. Alright, so let's take off. And I'm going to be following the flight director, basically. It's going to tell me exactly what I need to do.
Orlando Tower, Delta 867 ready for departure. Runway 17 right. IFR to Los
Gear up.
Angeles.
Delta 8.
You see how the flight director's turning to the right? I'm just going to copy that. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not worried about other planes right now.
United 520. Turn next taxiway.
Once I get about 500 feet, then I will lift the flaps. But all I'm doing, if I want to fly this by hand, is I just follow the flight director. So if I want to fly it by hand, it'll tell me exactly what to do and when to do it. So that's the way that works. Now that I have my altimeter set up, I have my nav on, I have my Versus set up, I technically can just click autopilot here,
Runway 17 right. IFR to Columbus.
and it will do all that for me. Right now, it doesn't like that I'm
Contact ground
full
on
power, so let me
122.8.
remove some of that power.
Dowdy Shizzle Golf Victor Charlie 1118. Leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
Okay,
122.85 United 5.
so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward until we get to our arrival, and we'll go from there. But right now, what this is going to do is it's going to take us up to 5,000 feet. It's going to fly to our arrival, and then it's going to start the approach, basically.
Delta 867 contact Miami Center on 1.
And I'm not doing anything; it's doing it all itself.
Good day.
Let me lift the gear. There we
Frontier
go.
flight.
Nav on. Okay. Okay. To start this approach, we're going to fly to Cocos. At Cocos, we need to be at 1,500 feet. So, you see it here. At Cocos, we need to be at 1,500 feet. So, let me look at that again. Okay. So right here, we need to be at 1,500. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to decrease our altitude down to 1,500. Let's take this down to 1,500. Do 1,200 a minute. Reduce speed. So right now I'm not even looking outside. I'm pretty much just focused on the instruments. So once I get around here, this is direction to the runway. Once I get around here and get lined up, I'm going to turn on the approach. So we're at the altitude we need to be at. In this plane, you have to manage your speed. It doesn't have an auto throttle, but so I just want to keep it around 85, 90. Okay, now it's going to start turning to final. Okay, and we're going to turn on approach, and we're going to come down here and click this, turn on the localizer, and now it should take care of everything from here. All I have to do is just manage the speed. And if you notice, to fly a perfect ILS, all you have to do is follow the flight director. So the plane itself is following the flight director. At this moment, you know, it'll maintain 1,500 feet. I believe until this green dot comes down and catches it, and it'll turn off all the altitude hold. But I'm going to turn it off beforehand just to make sure that it doesn't keep its altitude and I have to refly the approach. Here we go, it's starting to drop now, the green bubble. So I'm going to turn off altitude hold, make sure approach is still lit up. And then once it fully takes over both the localizer and the glide scope, then I can go outside the plane and get good views or footage or whatever. And it pretty much just does everything from there until you hit the ground. So it's about to pitch down. I'm going to have to reduce speed there. It just pitched down. So now we can go outside of the plane and just let it fly. All I have to do is manage the speed. Now I'm going to slow it down to its final approach speed. soon as it hits the ground, I just add the brake and that's it. And when it hits the ground, the autopilot turns off. Alright, thank you. Have a good day.